Hi friends, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Geraldine. Today I'm going to be taking you along with me as I do some Q3 planning and prepping because this coming week is our last week of Q2, and then at the beginning of February we will be starting Q3. And I know that seems really late probably to most of you because usually people try to have half of their school year done before Christmas and half after, but with the vacations we've taken this year and the fact that we don't start till the middle of August anyway or early September, this is just what works for us. And the last 2 quarters have not really technically even been quarters. They were more like 10 weeks long. But the next two that I'm planning are more like 9 weeks because we have gotten into a really good rhythm with our history curriculum. And that is what kind of stretches us out the most as far as that's the longest curriculum that we have for the school year. So we use Sunlight History Bible Literature programs, and this year we are on level F, which is Eastern Hemisphere. And so I just was working on updating my spreadsheet. This is term 3, and it goes from February 2nd through April 10th. And there is 1 week, I think the last week of March, that is our like spring break week. So anyway, long story short, we are going to keep plugging away, and this term is a little bit different because it will have some things finishing up for the year, and then we won't really be restarting any new things necessarily. Let's go ahead and take a look specifically what we're going to be doing for this term. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you my term planning sheet. So here is my term 2 plan. This is what I started out with at the beginning of term 2. And this is what I'm using to update my spreadsheet or create it for term 3. So I had weeks going across the top, but I decided in this new term, I'm just going to label them 1 through 9 for that term because I don't really care what week of the school year it is. And honestly, as I get farther and farther along in homeschooling, that matters less and less to me because we are doing a more year-round homeschool approach. And so we're just working through the curriculum 1 week at a time. But this is where we got as far as finishing different lessons. So anything that's highlighted is finished. And I did forget to highlight these because this coming week, my daughter is finishing 36. We actually skipped 34 and went straight to 36. But you'll notice here, like we didn't get to lesson 15 until next week. So we haven't finished that yet because this is actually changed. It's a long story, but we shifted some weeks around to go on a little vacation. But like things like this, the Burgess Bird book, we're a little bit behind there. And Prima Latina for Latin, we are a little behind there. And we're also a little behind in Gentle Classical Preschool. So instead of considering that behind, we just update the new spreadsheet to be right on track with wherever we're at now. So that's what I'm working on now. So here on my computer screen, you will see that I have my term 3 pulled up, and I will print it out here in just a few minutes, but I just need to go through and make sure that I think this is actually going to be how it flows. And I think it's just about right. We are going to be finishing up Kids of Character this coming term. We only have about 3 or 4 more lessons of that, and my daughter does that independently. Sunlight, we are going to be on weeks 19 through 27. We are going to be finishing the Burgess Bird book around the 4th week, so the end of February. And then after that, for morning time, we will switch to incorporating our On Mission magazine for India. And I scheduled that for about 5 weeks. Since we are going to do more of a focused morning time, I had been doing a couple of different things on a loop schedule, and it didn't really feel right. So I changed to just focusing on Burgess Bird book every day at lunchtime, so about 4 days per week. And that should put us on track to then switch at the beginning of March to doing India, our On Mission India magazine, about 4 days a week. So then that should wind up only taking us 3 to 5 weeks. I'm not really sure. I wanted to plan on the longer side to give us some flex time. We are also going to be finished with health at the end of this term, and then it won't continue on into the second half of April. Prima Latina, we're still going very slowly through that, which is just fine with me. That's just kind of an extra fun thing that we do. And then we are going to be doing a week of gentle and classical preschool every other week. And so we should get to 5 weeks worth of material across the 9 weeks. This time I also went ahead and scheduled out the before 5 in a row books that we're going to do specifically because I hadn't been doing that. And honestly, I'd been slacking on getting to those resources. And so we were doing our books through Gentle and Classical Preschool, but we weren't necessarily getting to the before 5 in a row books that I really did intend to do this year. So that is kind of how I'm solving that problem, is by actually scheduling it in for the opposite weeks. And I'll show you that after I print it out. And then I've also done that same thing with our ABC See Her Do program for my son. He is 4, almost 5, and I really want to be doing 2 letters per week that are new letters. And if you look here, I'm just going to turn the camera a little bit. I decided to put the letters up around our schoolroom. There's one kind of right here, so that we can practice a little bit more with the letters that he's learned. And then I plan to very purposefully do 2 new letters per week. And then we are also using All About Reading pre-reading level. He really likes the games and activities and the little, what are they called? The little rhyming cards that go with that. And so we are still doing both of those fairly regularly. I also printed out the Gentle and Classical Preschool Morning Binder for the preschool level, and I just printed the pages that are the alphabet letter pages. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the prepping part, because what I need to do today is I need to I need to change out my mom binder, because I'm going to be doing a new set of sunlight pages. So the way that I do my sunlight planning pages is that I keep the original here, right here in this part, and I only do 9 weeks at a time because otherwise you'd have a huge stack. But I take the very first page of each section and I make a copy, because I have this weird thing where I just can't write or highlight on the original. I don't know why. So instead, I just make these little packets, and these are 9 weeks long. I highlight the things that I'm doing and my daughter's doing in different colors, and then I mark them off. So today I need to go ahead and switch out weeks 10 through 18 for weeks 19 through 27, which would be the third kind of section of the curriculum. So that's what I'm going to do next. I really like my mom binder that I have put together this year. It is a, what do you call these? A flex binder, and it works really, really well to be able to fold it back on itself, which I have really enjoyed. So if you don't have a flex binder or a mom binder, you might want to consider getting one. But I'm going to go ahead and put these away and then get the next set out and copied, and then I will put them here in my binder. Okay, I forgot that I actually have a few more things that I need to take out of here because I do have a section in my mom binder for the reader notes from Sunlight and the read aloud notes, which means that I need to trade those out. I honestly don't use these as much as most Sunlight moms probably do. I have my daughter narrate more than I ask her the discussion questions. And she does a lot better with narrating than answering very specific, detailed questions. So that seems to work okay for us. But it is really nice to have that option of going through the notes. And sometimes if there's like background information or things like that, I will go ahead and read them to her and even ask her about the vocabulary words and things like that. They are really helpful, and they often have like little maps about the place where that story or book is referring to, and then also like just information about if that book is about a specific person. Okay, so now that that is done, when I am finished photocopying the first page of each week, then I will go ahead and put these in the binder as well. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Okay, so now I am waiting for the last one to be done. So I'm just going to put these back in order so that I can put them in my mom binder and they'll be ready to go for weeks 19 through 27. It doesn't take very long once you get started, but I like to lay everything out because other times that I've done this, I wind up either getting them out of order or missing a page. And yeah, so this is just how I do it. So now I have a little pack of just the front copy. And I just want to go ahead and double check to make sure that everything is correct. 22, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, and then I'm just going to staple these together and put these in my mom binder. There's actually one more thing that I just remembered I need to do. Sometimes in this packet, there's a page like this where there's a map. And this is a reference map that my daughter uses in her Eastern Hemisphere. Oh, here's another one. Her Eastern Hemisphere notebooking pages. They have blank maps in there. And the kids use these maps to use as a guide for them to do the mapping work. So I need to actually take these out first and make those photocopies for her so that she is ready to go. It would be helpful if there was enough paper in the copy machine. Okay, this one's double-sided, but I'm going to do it single-sided just to make it easier. Okay, now we are actually ready to put this into my mom binder. Now, one of the things that I did at the beginning of the school year that was really helpful is that I cut apart all of the timeline figures that come with the HBLF program, and then I numbered them on the back to show which unit number or less week number that they go to, and then put them in order in this little envelope. And I keep it right here along with my map, the foldable map. So that is handy. I'm going to put these maps also in here because these are things that I give my daughter to do for her notebooking pages. So now I think everything is ready to go for the next 9 weeks of sunlight. Okay, so I finished printing all of the things I needed to do for sunlight. I printed out my term 3 spreadsheet, and I think I am good to go now. One thing that we will be starting that's kind of new, I guess, would be Fix It Grammar, and also the Language Arts grade 6 from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. This is the language arts that we're going to be using through the end of this school year because we finished up the Learning Language Arts through Literature Purple book this last week. So this is just a very simple book that has lots of different things. It has parts of speech, sentences, mechanics, vocabulary, and usage, and then some research skills, which we have found out recently through the Purple book that my daughter likes to do some research things. So that is good. So we're going to be starting this and Fix It Grammar the first week of February. And if you haven't seen my recent review of Learning Language Arts through Literature, go ahead and check out this video. We really liked it, and yeah, so go ahead and check that video out so you can hear my full opinion on that. Otherwise, there are these 2 orangish lines here, and that's because these are 2 things that we're going to be finishing up, and we won't be starting anything in that row. We will be starting the India unit, like I mentioned, for On Mission Magazine, and continuing on with all of our other things. So stay tuned for more homeschool videos here at our homeschool table. I hope that you enjoyed today's kind of planning and preparation video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer them. But otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and we'll see you next time.